So at the start of the movie, we see a woman named Adela. She's sitting in front of a mirror getting ready. Just then her husband Swedrigit walks in. Adela smiles and says, "Look how beautiful your wife is." Swedrigit replies, "Yeah, you are beautiful." And in the very next moment, he slashes her throat. In the next scene, we see that Adela isn't dead yet. When she opens her eyes, she finds herself tied up in a strange place. Swedrigit is standing there with a master, along with several of the master's men. Adela, confused, says, "Darling, what are you doing?" "I'm your wife, Adela." That's when Swedrigit reveals the truth. His real wife, Adela, is already dead. And the woman in front of him isn't Adela, she's a Lampir demon. Right after that, he sets her on fire. The Lampir laughs and says, "You fool, you can't destroy me. I am immortal, and so is my beauty. I can get anything with my beauty, even human souls." But suddenly, the men standing there turn against the master and Swedrigit, stabbing both of them to death. The Lampir bursts out laughing because it had already possessed those men beforehand. All of this turns out to be a nightmare seen by a girl named Weedy. She has been seeing the same dream over and over again. We also notice a scratch mark on her neck. Just then, her boyfriend Onga calls her. He's waiting outside in the car. Their wedding is just 2 weeks away, and today they're heading out for their pre-wedding shoot. As soon as Weedy gets into the car, she notices a shadow on the balcony. At the same time, Onga sees the scratch marks on her neck and says, "Looks like you scratched yourself again in your sleep." Weedy brushes it off and says she'll just cover it with makeup. Later, we see them at a studio. The photographer there is their friend Ravi. During the shoot, Onga keeps getting busy on calls, which annoys Weedy so much that she snatches his phone. Outside the studio, we meet 2 more of their friends, Nanda and Agnes. Nanda is scrolling through reels, while Agnes keeps checking herself in the mirror, clearly a bit insecure about her looks. By the way, Agnes is Ravi's girlfriend. At that moment, Nanda is watching a reel about an unsolved case. 10 years ago, a group of 6 friends mysteriously disappeared. One of them, a guy named Raka, actually studied in Agnes's college. Nanda asks her, "Did you know Raka?" Agnes replies, "No, I didn't really talk to him much." Right in the middle of all this, Ravi and the rest wrap up the shoot and step outside, starting to go through the photos. But Onga doesn't even have time for that. He gets another call and immediately leaves again. Wadi explains that before the wedding, Onga wants to finish all his work so he can be completely free to focus on the marriage. Meanwhile, she's been handling all the wedding arrangements on her own. Just then, Nanda brings up Raka's case, saying, "You know they're still missing." Wadi responds, hoping they'll be found, but Agnes adds, "It's been 10 years. Logically, they're probably dead by now." After this, Wadi goes to return the shooting dress she had borrowed from her friend Larasa's store. When she heads to the restroom, in the darkness between the statues, she suddenly sees a long-haired entity silently beckoning her closer. But just then, another girl walks in and turns on the light, and the entity vanishes instantly. The whole experience leaves Wadi shaken. On her way back, she notices Laris looking worried, but when Wadi asks, Laris doesn't say anything and just walks away. Later, a worker at the store tells Laris that while cleaning Wadi's dress, she finds a lot of white hair on it. Wadi is still young, so why is her hair falling out and turning white? That's really strange. Meanwhile, Wadi tells Onga that something weird has been happening to her lately. "It feels like someone is following me. It has long white hair, long nails, and it's not human." But Onga doesn't take her seriously. He brushes it off, saying she's just exhausted and imagining things. He reassures her, "I know all the wedding pressure is on you. Don't worry, I'll finish my work soon, and then we'll handle everything together." That calms Wadi down a little. The next day, Agnes suggests a trip for everyone. She says a friend of hers has an empty villa that no one uses since he lives abroad. And she shows them pictures. Everyone loves it. Onga turns to Wadi and suggests, "How about doing another pre-wedding shoot at this villa? The photos would look amazing." Everyone tries to convince her, but she refuses. But that night, while Wadi is taking a shower, the same entity attacks her again. And after that, Wadi finally agrees to go on the trip. The next day, everyone sets out for the trip. A 5th person, Risky, also joins them. He was brought along by Agnes. The moment Robbie sees him, he gets furious and snaps, "What the hell is this junkie gambler doing here?" Agnes steps in and calms Robbie down, saying that Risky has changed now. But Robbie isn't convinced. He calls him a scammer and reminds everyone how he once cheated them out of 10 million. Risky quickly defends himself, saying he didn't do it intentionally and promises to return the money. Anga tries to ease the tension, saying, "See bro, he'll pay it back. Just calm down." Then he turns to Wadi and asks why she suddenly changed her mind about coming on the trip. Wadi says she thinks Anga was right. She's just been stressed because of the wedding preparations, and that stress has been making her see things that aren't real. Anga reassures her, saying that after this trip, everything will be fine. After some time, they all arrive at the villa. On the way, Nanda asks Risky why he brought such a huge bag when they're only staying for 2 days. Later, when everyone else leaves, Robbie pulls Risky aside and warns him, "Listen, maybe everyone else has accepted you, but I haven't. If you try anything shady here, especially with Agnes, I'll kill you right here." Inside, Agnes gives everyone a tour of the villa. It looks even more stunning on the inside than it did from the outside, filled with countless antique items. Wadi comments that everything looks very vintage and asks how old the place is. Agnes explains that her friend told her it was built back in 1900 by their ancestors. Then suddenly, they notice a painting of Adela. Nanda asks who she is, and Agnes explains that Adela was her friend's ancestor, said to be the most beautiful woman of her time. Nanda agrees, saying she truly is breathtaking, but when Wadi looks at the painting, she's shocked. It's the same woman she's been seeing in her dreams. Still, she keeps it to herself. Meanwhile, Ravi is outside taking photos when he suddenly sees Adela standing in a window. But the moment he lowers his camera and looks again, she's gone. The next day, Anga and Wadi are doing an outdoor shoot while everyone else stays outside. Agnes excuses herself and goes inside to the bathroom. A little later, Risky also makes an excuse and slips inside. That's when it's revealed. Robbie was absolutely right. Risky is nothing but a fraud and a thief. He came here with the intention of stealing. That big bag he brought? It was for this exact reason. He quickly starts stuffing all the antique items into it. At the same time, he knows about a hidden spot inside the villa. He believes there's something valuable there, a jackpot waiting to be found. But here, Lampir was already waiting for him. The moment he sees it, he's terrified. And then, in the very next second, Lampir suddenly vanishes. Right in front of him, he notices a rolled-up scroll lying on the ground. At first glance, he thinks it's a treasure map. But it's not. It's filled with strange and horrifying drawings, and a chilling message written on it, "There is no way out of here." And at the very end it says, "Only one of you will make it out alive. The rest will be devoured." Suddenly, Lampir attacks him, and in pure panic, he runs away. Meanwhile, outside, it suddenly starts raining heavily. Everyone quickly packs up and heads back inside. Just then, Risky bumps into them in a panic and tells them everything. He says something is seriously wrong here. We need to leave right now. But no one understands what he's trying to say. Ravi snaps at him and says, "What the hell did you smoke?" Then he starts checking Risky's bag, and in the very next moment, the truth comes out. Risky had been stealing from them. On the other side, when Nanda goes to the bathroom, he finds Agnes's dead body hanging from the ceiling. Everyone is completely shocked. Ravi is absolutely shattered. Anga tries to call the police, but suddenly, there's no signal. In the middle of all this, Ravi lashes out at Risky, shouting, "I know you did this. You tried to force yourself on Agnes when you were drunk, and today when she caught you stealing, you killed her. I'll kill you." And he starts beating him. Anga steps in and stops them, saying, "This is not the time to figure out what happened. First, we need to get out of here." So, they pick up Agnes's body and start leaving. But then, they notice something strange. The villa doesn't look the same anymore. It now looks like it has been abandoned for 1,000 years. At that moment, they all realize something is terribly wrong with this place, and they try to escape immediately. But no matter how far they go, they keep ending up right back in front of the same villa. Panic starts to spread among them. Anga tries again, But this time, Lampir attacks them on the road. The car crashes into a tree and breaks down. Now every possible way out is gone, just like the scroll had warned. With no other choice, they all return to the villa. Risky says, I may be a thief and a junkie, but I'm not a killer. I didn't kill Agnes. There's something evil here, some negative energy behind all of this. Come, I'll show you something. And then, he leads everyone toward a secret place. But Nanda is too terrified to go inside, so she stays outside. Meanwhile, as they keep watching the reel, someone points out that everything happening to them was already predicted in it. First Agus's death, and then them being unable to leave this place. They realize they're trapped. The reel says that only one of them will make it out alive, and the demon will devour the rest. But Anga dismisses the reel as nonsense. He says it's just some psycho's twisted game, someone trying to manipulate them into killing each other. Risky then asks, but who? Who would benefit from our deaths? That's when Wodi reveals the name, Lampir. She says she knows him, a demon disguised as a human. Risky asks how she knows all this, and Wodi explains that she saw this place in her dreams, and Lampir too. But Anga still refuses to believe her. He insists Lampir exists only in her dreams, not in reality. And then he sets the reel on fire. Meanwhile, Nanda is all alone outside when suddenly hears Agnes's voice calling. It feels strange, because Agnes is already dead. In reality, it's Lampir playing a deadly game with. Before Nanda can even react, Lampir attacks him. Hearing screams, the others panic and start searching for him. At that moment, Wodi opens a room door, and what she sees freezes her in horror. Lampir is devouring Nanda's body, laughing in a terrifying demonic voice. That's when they realized the reel was telling the truth. Wodi screams at the sight and suddenly the door slams shut. Hearing her scream, Risky rushes over and opens the door, only to find Nanda's lifeless body inside. Now everyone understands, Nanda has been killed. But then, something even more horrifying happens. Nanda's body suddenly comes back to life and starts floating in midair, possessed by Lampir. In a chilling voice it says, I will tear you apart with my claws and devour every last one of you, before bursting into maniacal laughter. The next moment, the body drops to the floor, lifeless again. Terrified beyond belief, they all try to escape the villa, but they can't. No matter what they do, they're trapped inside. Wodi breaks down, crying, convinced that none of them will survive. Anga tries to comfort her, saying, it's dark now, but morning will come. Tomorrow, we'll find a way out. But Risky suddenly starts laughing hysterically. Then he snaps at Anga, shouting, after everything that's happened, you still don't get it? This is real. Lampir is real, and so is that reel. Robbie says that if what's written on that scroll is true, then it means only one of them will make it out alive. Anga immediately understands his intention and pulls out a gun, warning him to stay back. Robbie steps away, but secretly slips a stone into his pocket. Later that night, while everyone is asleep, Lampir calls Risky into Agus's room, seduces him and lures him in. Suddenly it attacks him and starts drowning him in the bathtub, but then stops midway and leaves. Because it isn't trying to kill him yet, it's just playing with its prey. When Risky climbs out of the tub, he finds Robbie there. Terrified, he breaks down and begs for help, saying Lampir is trying to kill him. But instead, Robbie attacks and kills him. When Anga and Wadi arrive, Robbie lies, claiming Lampir did it. Then, using an excuse, he grabs Anga's gun and starts shooting. Wadi tries to stop him, but he attacks her too and knocks her unconscious. Just as he's about to shoot again, the gun misfires during the struggle and falls to the ground near Wadi. A brutal fight breaks out between Ravi and Anga. Ravi gains the upper hand and tries to suffocate Anga with a piece of cloth. Meanwhile, Wadi regains consciousness and points the gun at Ravi, but she doesn't realize it's empty. This gives Anga a chance to fight back. Wadi runs to grab a knife to save him, but by then Ravi has already stabbed Anga with a wooden stake. Even so, Anga manages to grab Ravi and tells Wadi to run. Wadi runs upstairs and hides under a bed. Ravi soon follows and starts searching for her. He quickly finds her and begins choking her. But just then, Lampir appears and strikes him. Terrified, Ravi lets go and tries to escape, but Anga attacks him from behind and brutally beats him to death with the same stone he had hidden earlier. After that, Anga goes to Wadi and comforts her, telling her not to be afraid, they will get out alive. But Wadi has no such plan. Suddenly, she stabs Anga straight through the heart, the man who loved her more than his own life. As he dies, she apologizes, saying she didn't want to kill him, but she didn't want to die either. Wadi believes she's finally going to escape. But then comes a shocking twist. She finds a photo of 6 people who went missing 10 years ago. Only 5 faces are visible. The 6th person is missing from the picture and not even named. That 6th person turns out to be Agnes. Moments later, Agnes appears alive and attacks Wadi. When Wadi regains consciousness, she finds herself tied up. It doesn't take her long to realize that this isn't her friend Agnes, it's the Lampir demon. Everything that happened to Agnes and her friends 10 years ago is now repeating. Wadi says she understands now that the ritual required 6 people, which is why Risky was included. She asks what the demon wants from her. Lampir replies coldly, her beauty, her body. From the very beginning, Wadi was Lampir's true target. That's why it saved her earlier when Ravi tried to kill her. Wadi then questions the scroll, which said only one person could leave. Lampir reveals it was all a psychological game to make things easier. Then, in its true horrifying form, Lampir crawls toward Wadi and enters her body through her private area, killing her instantly and taking over her body. Once again, Lampir gains a young and beautiful form. Disguised as Wadi, Lampir walks out of the villa. At the beginning, it had already taken another body by killing Ella. Later, it possessed one of the girls with Agnes, brought them to the villa 10 years ago, and took Agnes's body as well. Now, the cycle will continue. Wadi will become the next vessel in this endless chain, allowing Lampir to remain forever young and beautiful. And with that, the movie comes to an end. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Also, subscribe to this channel for more stories like this.